Hi, I'm Neelam Sangera. Today I will be presenting to you the Instructor Feedback Strategy presentation. Now let's go over the description and purpose, process, pros and cons for the group instructional feedback technique. GIFT is an assessment technique that is used for the educator to receive feedback from the students to improve the learning outcomes for their course. It is most effective for a class size of 25 to 100 students. The feedback gathered is anonymous. It consists of 3 to 5 questions for the students to complete in a short period of time. It can also be assessed by another educator, consultant, or colleague. The feedback gathered is summarized and reported back to the educator. Then the educator has a discussion with the students about the reported feedback. The purpose of GIFT is to provide the educator with a summary of the student's perception of the course through their own observations. It is also to improve and make immediate changes to create positive learning outcomes for their students. The educator can use it to critically think about their classroom techniques. It can also be used for the student to reflect. Now let's take a look at the process of GIFT, Group Instructional Feedback Technique. Create 3 to 5 GIFT questions. Decide when you want the assessment technique to be conducted. Decide how much time you want to allot to conduct the discussion and the feedback. Decide who will be the assessor, you, trusted colleague, consultant, educator, or internal resource to provide professional development. Prepare the students and assessor. If you invite a trusted colleague, consultant, educator, or internal resource, give them reasonable notice, schedule a date that works for both you and the assessor. Provide the assessor with 3 to 5 created GIFT questions. Provide the assessor with details on how the process is conducted. Agree on the assessment process and follow the steps. Prepare the students for the assessment. Communicate who, why, where, and when the assessment will be conducted. Remember to communicate to the students that the importance of the assessment is to improve their learning outcomes. Also communicate that the assessment is anonymous and also confidential. Give the students 5 minutes to write the answers to the questions on a piece of paper. When the 5 minutes are up, the assessor then gives the students another 5 minutes or so to compare, discuss, and create common responses to a list of their responses. This is best done with the students seated close to them or in small groups. The assessor then asks the students to volunteer a student to share their agreed common responses discussed. The assessor will write the responses shared and then immediately ask all students to raise their hand if they agree to common responses. This will provide a percentage of students agreeing to the common responses. The assessor will summarize, report in brief, and may even summarize in list form, as well as edit out any unethical or unsuited responses for feedback. Now you have a summarized feedback. If you are the assessor, you might want to have a discussion on the top 3 to 5 agreed common responses listed. This step is the most important part of the process. When the feedback is given, the next step is to listen, reflect on the feedback given, and communicate the changes for improvement to the students. If you are a trusted colleague or another educator as the assessor, this can be done immediately or during the next class. If the assessor is a consultant or a professional development manager, this is then best to wait for the report. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons for group instructional feedback technique. Here are the pros. And here are the cons. Well, that's all for me today for 3260 Professional Development for Assignment 5. Be sure to check out the references to follow.
Created using Powtoon.